What's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another player interview. This time I'm here with Daylon Mack, who got top 16 at PPT Dallas. How you doing tonight, Daylon?
I'm doing very good, man. Doing very good.
Dude, I'm like super stoked to have you on the channel right now because, like, I don't know, you're living like my childhood dream, so that's super sick. For those of us that don't know, why don't you give us a little bit about your background, just like your sports scene and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I'm a senior at A&M right now. I'll graduate in the spring in May. I'm waiting this week to get drafted. The draft will start like Thursday. It'll go through Saturday, and I'm projected to go in the second and third round. So normally I don't get a chance to go to like a lot of the events. I always want to go, but I can because like it's always during the season, and like they're always on Saturdays, and we play our games on Saturdays, so I don't get a chance to go. But once I heard about the Pro Play Tour, I was like, yeah, man, I'm finally free. I get a chance to go and play. So it was fun. I had a really fun time.
And let's preface that with the NFL draft. I don't want anyone to think it's the Army draft or anything. But no, just yeah. So how close was the event to you, like to where you're like kind of at in Texas?
So I was actually training. I was training in McKinney for the just to stay in shape and stuff. Like I already went through the combine and the All-Star games and stuff like that. So I was actually staying with my agent, and the event was like it was in Fort Worth. I was staying in Dallas, so it was like 45 minutes away.
Okay, cool. And a couple questions. How did you get into the Dragon Ball Supercard game?
So I was actually a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and like the game kind of when Links came out, I was like, okay, like I can't keep up with all this stuff. Like it's crazy, and like if you don't open up a hand trap, you kind of just like lose. So I was like, I didn't want to play that. Then I actually got into Dragon Ball Super. My friend Nick Martinez, he told me about it, and I started watching people play, and we got into it like right at the end of the Crossworlds set. So like when Colossal Warfare came out, or is it Miraculous Revival? Whichever set came after that, like Flute and stuff came out, and that's when I started playing. Yeah, that set was crazy. Like Storm that's when I got into the game. So
that was a rough time to get into the game.
Yeah, good thing I was playing Storm that time. So I was kind of having a better time than most.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. I came to this game from Yu-Gi-Oh just the same. I had the same issues with Yu-Gi-Oh, so I totally resonate with that. So being like a high profile athlete, especially in a D1 college, how do you manage your time between like playing this game, and obviously you do consider yourself a competitor in this game because you went to an event, you top 16, you keep up with the meta. So how do you kind of manage your time like that?
It's actually I actually do have like more time. I just don't have like the weekends. I normally get done with like practice around like 6:30, and our locals, like where I used to go to Clockwork and College Station. The tournaments would start at like 7:30, so I did used to get a chance to like go to the locals and stuff like that. And like I used to pretty much like after I got done practicing, I would always like hang out with my friends, and we would like test and play test and all that stuff. And they got a chance to go to the events. I didn't really get a chance to go, but they would do pretty well for the most part. They would get their invites and top and stuff like that.
That's awesome, man. And you made it. You basically made it worth it going to this one event that you've been able to go to. You top 16. That's super awesome. And one other question. I don't know if you heard, but there was actually a recent Yu-Gi-Oh regional where one of the offensive linemen from the Kansas City Chiefs actually topped. Did you hear about that?
Oh, I didn't even hear about that. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that was a few weeks ago, which I thought was pretty interesting. So kind of like a jump off question. Are you very, very kind of out there with the fact that you play TCGs, or do you kind of like try and keep it on the down low?
I'm out there with it. It's a lot of nerds on the football team, man. Like the team I played on, like we talk about anime a lot. Like we talk about a lot of this stuff. There's a couple of my friends that play this game, but they're not as like competitive as I am with it.
Okay.
Like it's a lot of people that actually would like do stuff like this.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I remember on the high school football team, you really couldn't talk about this kind of stuff, but I'm glad that like in the college scene, it's a little more acceptable. So,
yeah. All
right, so we'll get actually into the profile. So, before we get into the cards, what made you want to play Skilless, and what made you want to play Blue Skilless?
So I was actually gonna play Vegeta Baby because I feel like it beats Skilless, but like when I play tested against it, it actually really didn't. Like, yeah, you can stop the Gokus, the one drop Gokus from being on board in the 8-raids, but like most other matchups really stopped that from happening anyways, like with Crisis Crusher. So, and then I really couldn't keep up with the hand advantage. Like I really couldn't combo high, and my opponent always had like a lot of cards in hand. They just didn't have the one drop Goku. So it really just wasn't it wasn't really beneficial. I thought the matchup would like really be in my favor if I was playing Vegeta Baby, but it was really more still like 55-45. And like I didn't think Vegeta Baby really had a good matchup versus everything else. So
Yeah.
I decided to go with Skilless because the way I designed the deck, like I designed it to be able to like do it good against the mirror match. And then I mained the one drop Mass Saiyans to be able to go against like the Super Shenron stuff. So
For sure. Yeah, and I'll jump off to this question right now. So why Dark Power in the main and no Borgos in the main? Because I think it's the kind of format where you have to main deck all the Super Shenron hate. So how did that work out for you, and why did you decide on this like main deck side deck anti Super Shenron ratio?
So I actually didn't even play Super Shenron, which is like so funny to me. Like I only ended up playing 3 mirror matches. I played 2 in Swiss and then 1 in top 16. But like against Super Shenron, I would honestly just side out the Android 8s. I would side out that, put in like the other dark power black mass sand, and then I would put in like the 3 Borgoses for it. But I just wasn't a big fan of Aetorade in like the Super Shenron matchup. Like I feel like it was just really underwhelming. Like it's only good turn 3 when you can like slap multiple down and then combo off of Goku.
Right.
Like other than that, it wasn't really giving me like it's not good turn 1, and turn 2 I always wanted to play Krillin, so I could summon a Vanilla and pop their Crisis Crusher.
Right.
So it just really was underwhelming for me.
Yeah, and I want to talk more about Android 8 in just a second, but I actually want to ask about the 6 4-star balls. So I think this is definitely more than most skillless builds play, especially blue. So like the thing with blue is like you don't have like a Mai or a Sorbet to search more Dragon Balls. So I do understand the 6 in that regard, but did you ever feel like it was overkill, or was it just perfect?
I thought it was perfect. I never had an opening hand where I didn't have the 4-star ball, and like I like 10 targets. And like when I was going for game, I would go for game a lot with like the 2 drops and 3 drops, and so I would just like have 4, like all of a sudden be up at like 70k before I even put the super combo or did a leader ability or added the Champa. So I really liked them.
Nice, that's awesome. All right, so we'll get to Android 8. So yeah, this is a card that in my recent Skilless builds, if anyone's been following the channel, I play Skilless a lot, and Android 8 got cut for me. Like I think like you said, I think the card's really underwhelming. I think it's really underwhelming in most matchups. So how'd you feel about it in certain matchups? I know you said you didn't like it in Super Shenron, but in other matchups, how'd you feel about it?
So I actually played 3 Shenron Boo matchups, and like they played the Crisis Crush on like turns 1 and 2 when they can, but like they never really play a battle card until like they're about to kill you, and like that's on like turn 3. So if I went second, like I really wouldn't even have a chance to like use my Android 8. So and then I played 2 Gogeta BRs, and they literally just pick up their stuff at the end of the turn.
Right.
So and then I played a Janemba, and like in the mirror matches, it was iffy in the mirror matches. It was like better than it was in the other matchups, but like for the most part, I played against Russell Stelzer, and like the last match to get into top 16, and like that match was intense, man. Like I couldn't believe I actually won, because like I was at 6 and I had like 1 mana open, and like he started off the turn evolving over the Kid Buu or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he had like the triple strike or whatever, and he swung, and I like used the Aetorade to negate it, and then he swung again, like he evolved over it again and gave a triple strike, triple attack, and I was at 6. So he swung the first time, I power bursted, went down to 5. He swung again and I power bursted and went down to 4, but he batteringed that one, so I had to like take that life. And the whole time I was looking at my life, I was like, well, he's got another swing and I'm gonna die. And like I was looking at my leader, I was like, can I even awaken? Because I was so used to awakening at 6 all day. And I was like, oh yeah, I can awaken. Like I'm at 4. So I awoken, untapped the energy, took the 3 life, and I had pulled a power burst off the top. So he swung again, I negated it, and that ended up winning me the game.
Too good. Was he playing AOD or regular Shenron Buu?
Just regular Shenron Buu.
Yeah, that deck actually got a lot of rep at Dallas, which is really interesting to see, especially because Stelzer played AOD at the past event in San Diego and did really well with it. So I'm surprised he made that change. But actually, you should be real proud of yourself. You actually ended his topping streak. He was 1 top away from 10 tops in a row, so you should feel real good about that. Not to say that he didn't deserve the top or anything like that, but just to say like you did really well against really high profile players. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a really good player. He was a cool dude too.
He is a really cool guy. He's a very cool dude.
I was surprised that just because I was coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, like I was surprised how much the community was like just really fun to be around. You know, a lot of the top guys. I actually met Marcus Contarsi, and he was actually the nicest guy. Like, he's probably the nicest guy I've ever met. Like, to be a top
Dude.
player and to be
Yes.
that cool. Like, and I know he stayed with some of my teammates. And that time he went to Dallas, Claudio and Marco, he stayed with them, and so like it was just cool to meet him. Like we actually talked for like 30 minutes, and like I told him I played football and stuff like that. So he was really cool and fun to be around.
Dude, Marcus is the team owner for Shenron's Lair, the team I'm on, and he is one of the best people in this community. Like, he's absolutely awesome. So I'm glad you had a good
really
experience
nice.
with him. All right, so getting on with the deck. 6 negates total. How did the 2 extra negates in the main board feel?
I really liked them. I always would side in, like for the mirror match, I would side out 2 of the 1-drop mass sand, and I would side in an 8 and the other overwhelm mass sand. I really think you need a lot of negations on the mirror, because like they're always trying to like untap, and they're swinging really high, so you kind of like try to force them to swing with an Android 8 or something they don't want to swing with. But I really liked it in the mirror. I only lost to 1 mirror match, and that was in Chop 16 against Chad Ramsey. He's actually an Aggie too, so you know that was pretty cool that we got a chance to play.
That's dope, man. Yeah, that's really cool, man. A lot of college football players playing this game. That's so awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the stuff, we got the Krillins, the Roshis, the Massan, which is a card that a lot of Skilless people weren't playing early on, but I think is like really staple, especially in this format. Senzu Bean. How was Senzu Bean overall? Like, this card, I almost feel like it's a watered down Nimbus against a lot of decks, but how did it do for you all weekend?
Senzu Bean was it made like my turns like where I would only just like turn 2 just play Krillin. I could play another 1-drop and kind of like play I could play the 1-drop mass sand floodgate, then I could play the Krillin, and then like summon a vanilla. So I basically like it just made my turns powerhousey. It wasn't against Shinbu, like it doesn't really against Shinbu, like you use it offensively, but like in the mirror matches and the storm decks, if I would have played one, like it's so good defensively.
Yeah, when I played Blue Skilless, that was the one thing I really liked about it. You could play amazing defense with Bean, but you could also play crazy aggro. I really, really like that. And then 8 20Ks and 3 30Ks. Why'd you come to this ratio? How did it do for you?
So I always like the 20Ks, because like I could always like summon them off Krillin. Like I'm a big fan of Krillin, man. I think that card's so good. Because like they always have the Crisis Crusher. Like that's one thing I learned in Dragon Ball. Like never hope they have the card, because they always have the card. Like people draw so many cards, especially
that's a big thing coming from Yu-Gi-Oh. Like sometimes you could bank on your opponent bricking, you could bank on them not having the answer because like you don't draw as many cards. In this game, you have to always assume they have it.
Yeah, and they always have it. Like every time I played an opponent, my 1-drop Goku, like it never stuck. But that was fine. That's why I had Krillin, so that I could like pop their Crisis Crusher, and then maybe they wouldn't have the second one, so I could kind of hope for that. But like I always like the like I only played 3 30Ks, like I said, because like my 1-drop Goku like wouldn't always stick. Like they'd always pop it, and like I don't really want to. It's kind of only good like on your awaken turns, when you can like tap 2 to summon a 30K, then awaken, you know, and kind of get your mana back, or have a Bean in hand to like kind of help you not pay so much for it. But the biggest thing I liked about the 1-drop Goku was just the activate main. Like I just loved that. I just loved that. Yeah, it was really good.
For sure. All right, now we'll move over to the sideboard. Of course, you got Champa in there for the win con. Sideboard, the extra Mass Sand, the extra Negate, and then the Demigra. And on top of the Heavenly Wizard Demigra, you also had the Bardock Fully Unleashed. So did you feel like you needed this much hate for like Broly, or what was all this for?
It was for Broly. So what I would do is, if I ever got a chance to play Broly, it made me so mad at the tournament, because like I had prepared to play like Broly, Super Shenron, and the mirror match. Like that, those were the decks I was like for sure that I was gonna see. And so every time I sat down, like I'd play like a Go G to BR, and like I look down the road, and it'd be like a Broly mirror match, a Vanilla-Ku mirror match. I'm like, wow, those are the matchups I prepared for.
And you just dodged them, yeah.
If I was to play Broly, I would side out 3 of the 1-drop Mass Sand for the Demigra, and then I would side out the two Overwhelm Mass Sand for the Bardock Fully Unleashed. So I was ready.
For sure, man. It sounds like it. I really appreciate you have like even on top of your head now, the event's over, and you still have the exact side outs and the exact side in. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah. So that's one thing I decided that I wanted to play, like just a dual color, like blue black, because I felt like tricolored, you can't really you can't really side out. Like, yeah, your main board's good. You got all these good cards in there. You got Nimbus and Beam. But like, you can't really side. And like, even now I can see like my sides, like it's just so easy. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, it just made it like fluent. So I was always prepared for every matchup.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I messed around with some blue yellow build and it felt like way too like rigid. I totally agree with you. And then we have the 2 Peel-Offs. So this card has not seen a lot of sideboard play recently. So talk about why you decided to sideboard this.
I was actually just worried about like the Shinbu matchups in the AOD. It actually put in work against one of the guys off Scouter Report. I can't think of his name, but he was him and Russell was playing. They were playing the same deck. And what I would do in that matchup is I take out the Android 8s, and then I put in a Dark Power, 2 Peel-Off. I kind of alternate. I didn't side it in all that much, but like I wanted Borg. It didn't seem like he was doing a lot of the untapped stuff. So I didn't really side in the Borgos. I put in the Peel-Offs because I thought it was going to be like the Storm part where he was like using a lot of beam, but I was like, I'm not going to get really much value off playing Borgos in this matchup. So I just sided in the Peel-Offs instead.
Gotcha. So let's talk about this for a second. The Shenron Boo deck, that it hasn't really been played too much at other events, but apparently you were very well prepared for it. But honestly, I did not even see it coming this event. So what exactly did the Shenron Boo deck entail, and how did you see it coming?
So honestly, I had like some open slots, and I was like, okay, I'm looking for blue cards to put in. I actually could have took out the Mafufas. They didn't come in clutch at all. They were for Hada Mastery, and like I know that's a well represented deck, but like they were gonna tap me out anyways, so
right.
I was never gonna get a chance to use it. But the Peel-Offs, I actually had a friend that was testing it, and I was like, well, if anything, like I'll just be prepared for it. Like my side deck just has a lot of room, like. So I just feel like I would play it, and I ended up playing 3. I'm really glad that I sided it in, so it was really good.
And then did you ever consider Godstrike Beerus instead of Peel-Off, or like maybe in another spot, just because you can't? It just because it doesn't lose to Battering.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I don't like the fact that it costs 2.
Fair enough.
I didn't really want to like play 2 mana for it, and like blue naturally just gets Peel-Off. I think that's one of the advantages of blue, so I just want to play that.
Excellent, man. Well, that's the deck profile right there. I appreciate all the thoughtfulness and all the prep you put into this event. Any final things you want to say about the event? Any final shout outs or anything like that?
Yeah, shout out to everybody at the event, man. I was just a big fan of everyone, meeting pro play games, super players, Crossworld, Shenron's Lair. Like, it was just so fun. Like I know, like I just felt like I knew everybody at the event. I mean, I just always seen them on their channel and stuff like that, and just to finally be around the people, like it's so funny because like I've met a lot of famous people in my life, but just being up there, like it was the first time like I actually was like fangirling. I was like, man, this is crazy. Like I'm actually like seeing these people in person, like seeing Peter Katani and Marcel and Russell and all the top guys. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, dude. Before I got into like YouTubing and stuff, Peter Katani was my idol in this game, man, and it was so cool to meet him. I totally feel that.
He's a really cool dude.
Yeah, man. It was a pleasure having you on, Daylon. Thank you so much for talking with me, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thank you, man.
Hey, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another vid. Hang on. This is the end card, not a. Screw it. I'm gonna play some Pokemon. See ya.